Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Summer B LIN 3003 class, Language Matters, which will be taught entirely online. I'll start this course introduction by introducing myself. I am the course facilitator. My name is Dr. Nicole Tracy-Ventura, and I'm an assistant professor of applied linguistics in the Department of World Languages at USF. I completed my PhD in 2008, and I've been teaching at USF for the last 5 years. Before that, I was a research fellow at the University of Southampton in the UK. And what that means is that I had an entirely 100% research position. So I've been here, as I mentioned, for 5 years, teaching mostly in the master's program and the PhD program in applied linguistics. And once in a while, I get to teach an undergrad course, which I enjoy very much. Typically, I teach the methods of teaching English overseas class that we offer in spring. If anyone's interested in traveling and teaching English abroad, you can talk to me about that. I can give you some suggestions of other courses to take in addition to that course. My research focuses on second language acquisition and most recently on language learning during study abroad. There you see my email. I hope you will reach out to me at any point when you have questions or concerns about the course. In online classes, I understand the need for instructor availability, and I will check my emails at least twice a day, probably more, at approximately 11 a.m. and 9 p.m. You should expect responses by those times or earlier. If it's something that's going to take longer and I need to look into it, I will let you know. I'm also not in Tampa this summer, so we will have to have any kind of office hour meetings over Skype. And so I'll reserve from 2 to 3 on Tuesdays and Thursdays for Skype meetings, but I am also more than happy to meet with you at other times on Skype that might work better for you. So please remember to be in contact with me whenever you feel that you have a question. Okay. Now, so this course, this is an introductory course, and we hope that it will make you interested in taking more linguistics courses. We now have a bachelor's program in applied linguistics. So if you have any questions about that, you can ask me. We have a minor in linguistics as well. So the ultimate goal of this course is to provide an overview of the connection between language and culture. And we're going to take these terms, which seem on the surface to be somewhat simplistic, and we're going to unpack them and analyze their meaning and their connection. And we're going to talk about intercultural awareness and work to debunk some myths related to language and linguistics in general, as well as second language acquisition and language learning. Now, to accomplish this, by the end of the course, you will be able to meet several objectives and be able to accomplish several items related to this understanding of language and culture. Not only understanding the deeper meaning of culture, and that language is more than just words alone, knowing and reflecting upon how language and culture are connected, being able to explicate, debunk, and synthesize arguments related to debunking myths related to both language learning and language in general, and then applying these theoretical aspects of language and culture to different types of real-world situations, including language learning. Now, so before going any further, I want to be upfront and make sure that everyone understands that we will be functioning under a very accelerated timeline for this course because it is a summer B session. So it's really important that you plan your workload. We are going to be covering approximately 2 modules per week. Okay, if this was a regular spring or fall class that lasted 15 weeks, we would be doing 1 module a week. So this is much quicker, 2 modules per week for 6 weeks. Okay, it's completely self-paced, meaning that once the class opens, everything will be open. So you are welcome to work ahead if you'd like, but please be aware that not everyone might be on the same schedule as you, and there are some group assignments. So think carefully about those. And examine project requirements early. So again, because it's accelerated, it doesn't leave you much time. You need to get started on assignments well in advance, okay? So 2 bits of advice at this point. Your first assignment is going to be due on Thursday of week 1, and that's a survey you need to complete that'll count for your first day attendance. So please do that as soon as possible. Another thing is that there are going to be some group assignments for this class, so it's really important that you find a group as soon as possible, contacting your classmates through email, or if you happen to know someone who's in the class as well and you would like to join a group with them. Now, there are 2 required textbooks. They are listed there, the Brown and Larson Hall book, Second Language Acquisition Myth, and the Claire Crampsch book, Language and Culture. There will be a few other additional readings, and those PDFs will be available or are available on Canvas with links that you just click. You can see here the course requirements. So there are few smaller assignments that make up about 8% of your grade. And then you will see the larger assignments, including content quizzes that you will take at the end of every module. And then the group work, which I mentioned before, these are group reflections. And then finally, your final project, which is worth 30% of your grade. Now, details can be found in the syllabus and in the individual modules where the assignments are due. So to get more information about the assignments, please read through the syllabus carefully and also look through the supporting documents that explain the assignments in more detail. Now, you'll see that most of the assignments for each module are going to be due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m., except for the final project, which is due on the last day of class. So please just pay attention to deadlines, and if you have issues, let me know sooner rather than later. Now, before we move on, I want to go ahead and just emphasize the importance of netiquette. I'm not going to read this out to you, but I want to remind you that this is a formal setting and I expect everyone to participate in that way. So even though it's online, we are still going to be acting as if we were or we are in an academic setting, and please be appropriate in your responses and in your interactions with your classmates and with me. Also, I'd like to reiterate that you make sure to please read through the student responsibilities on your syllabus since you will be bound by these responsibilities. So for example, we do not allow any form of cheating, including plagiarism, as you know, at USF. Weekly quizzes cannot be made up. So once a quiz goes offline, you will not be able to take it. As a general rule, please do not submit assignments late. Again, if there's any kind of emergency or something that's come up in your life, you need to let me know as soon as possible, and we can try to work out something for you. Late work will receive the following penalties, as it says there. If the work is between 1 minute, 24 hours late, the highest grade you will receive on the assignment is 85%. After 24 hours, no work can be turned in after the last day of class. So the highest grade you can receive is a 50%. So note about email, I will try to get back to you as soon as possible, but there are times where it might take me a little bit longer, okay? So if you haven't heard from me in 2 days, you can be free to write a follow-up message, but please be courteous and polite at all times. One thing that's really important to remember is that you may ask any of your professors sometime in the future to write you a letter of recommendation or any kind of recommendation. So it's important that they think of you as someone who is professional in your correspondence and in your interactions. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to show you is just how the course is organized. So when you log into Canvas, you'll see over here that you have several options. On the home page, you'll see information about me, my email address, the course introduction video, this one that you're listening to right now, links to open the syllabus and other information, a bit about the course structure, what we talked about just briefly, participation and etiquette. Here you see things that are coming up, Okay, assignments, and over here, if you click on modules, you will get more details about how the course is organized. So you will start here with module 0, okay, and then you'll see we have several modules. As I mentioned before, there will be 2 modules per week. So you see again, modules 1 and modules 2 are both in week 1. And then module 3 and 4 are part of week 2. So all the assignments will be due at the end of this week, okay? So if you look within one module, what we have, first you'll start off with the overview and checklist of what the module consists of and the due dates there at the top. If you click next, you will have the first bit of the module, which is about language and culture, coming from the Cramps book, and this is what it tells you here, what's required. So you read the chapter 1 in the Cramps book, and then you're going to view the presentation, which is narrated. You can also find the PowerPoint without narration here. And then later you'll see some guided notes for you, important points to make sure that you got from the reading and from the PowerPoint. If you go on next, you'll see the second part of the first module, which is related to the SLA myths, the second textbook. So this one for module 1 is about age and language learning. Okay, so similar to the previous page, you have a PowerPoint that's narrated, the lecture, and you have guided notes to go along with it, right? So it was expected that you read the first chapter in our other textbook, okay? Then after that, you will see that we have a part on language in the media, okay? So you're going to find an article here, which you should read through and make some notes, relevant examples, questions you have. If you have any questions at any point, please post them on the module's discussion board, which you'll find at the beginning of the module. And save these notes for use in upcoming assignments and for your final project. Okay, so after you do the readings, you will have a module quiz that you will take. So you have 30 minutes, it's timed. You have 30 minutes to complete the quiz, and you get at most 2 attempts, and your highest score will be recorded. Okay, so please note that you may not have the same questions in each attempt. Okay, so once you've finished with the quiz, if you click next, you'll move on to the next module. And the raise your hand here, this is the discussion section. You can post any questions here. And I also suggest that you click subscribe so that you get any other students' questions as well, and you can see my replies there. Okay, so if we go back to the modules, so at any point if you come out, you can always go back into the modules by going here. And you'll see that they all have the same format. So they begin with the language and culture book, write a chapter from that, then there's a chapter from the SLA myths book, and then you're going to read an article from some newspaper article or other type of language in the media. And there will be assessments, right? So your quizzes, as well as some assignments that might be due for that module. Okay, so you can see all of them are here all the way. We have 10. It's the last kind of normal module, and then our final module is module 11, where you have your final project. So here you have all the details about the final project options. And there are also 2 sort of extra credit activities that you can do if you feel that you need extra credit. Okay, close your eyes for a minute. The syllabus, if you click on this, it's going to show you all the assignments and when they're due. So this is really helpful. It's another way to look at what's coming up. Okay, so I suggest that you take a look at that. And if by chance you notice something's funny with the dates or whatever, please let me know, because occasionally we make mistakes when we set things up in Canvas, and we try our best to make sure there aren't, but sometimes things creep in. All right, I think that's good, and hopefully it will all be clear. And again, at any point, if you have a question, just email me there and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And the last thing that I would say is that several of us have worked on this online course, so don't be surprised if you hear somebody else's voice in one of the PowerPoints. That just means that it was a group effort to create this course, and you're lucky to have the input from a bunch of different people. Thanks.